everybody loves a good wedding, even wizards. And finally, in this film, we get to have one here in the grounds of the Burrows, which is the Weasleys' family seat. The big question is, which of the Weasleys is it getting hitched? It's not Ron, is it? What can you tell us about the wedding?
Yeah, that's quite exciting. It was quite cool to have kind of all the family back and all getting dressed up and
to meet your brother Bill?
Yes, yeah. It's kind of about time, yeah.
Don't worry, girls. Ron's still on the market. It's actually the wedding of his older brother Bill.
Hello, Harry. Bill Weasley. Oh, pleasure to meet you.
We meet our son Bill, of Donal Place. This episode, it was like, who are you?
I'm your son.
Oh yes, that's it. You've been in where have you been?
A good-looking, dashing chap with great taste in women.
Yeah.
And what was
he's Brendan's son, of course, so it's becoming a family firm now.
Did you feel like mother of the groom? Was it sort of an emotional occasion for you?
It was, my boy, yes. No, I loved it. It was just great fun.
Not
I
that
love
you'd met your boy before, of course.
No, he was new.
He was
Donal,
new.
yes. Hadn't met him before. But I love the scenes with great crowds of us together because they're good fun.
There was a lot of standing around and kind of greeting people. That was kind of what we were doing for a lot of
Which is,
weddings.
let's face it, exactly like a real wedding.
I've never been to a wedding. It was my first wedding. My first wedding.
Hold on, you've never been to a wedding?
Never been to a wedding.
I assumed you say you'd never been married, but you didn't... How old are you now?
I'm 26. I've got friends.
But they've just never invited you?
That's what... What?
What? No
What
one...
do you mean they never invited? They haven't gotten married. How old are you?
I'm 35. But I was going to say, but I would assume by the time you're 26, you'd have been to a wedding. No one you know's ever got married?
No.
No,
well,
no family
I've had
members?
friends. I've been working. I'm busy.
I could dance with Daddy Weasley, the two of us. Yeah, it was really lovely.
Everybody
Pretty
dressed
dress. Yeah.
How was the dress?
Gorgeous, very floaty.
Lovely.
Gorgeous. Just slid over my padding. Lovely.
Right,
You go and Ben, you can touch them
stunning.
because they're not real. Ben! Actually, you touched a bit of the real.
Did I?
No,
Never
you
felt one like that.
No.
Mrs. Weasley's.
They're Mrs. Weasley.
They're Mrs. Weasley.
Yes.
Actually, it's an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I think you need to feed the guinea pig.
I will. I'm going to feed it. Please explain that they aren't real.
They're not
People will
real.
be writing in. Anyway, I'm going. These aren't Mrs. Weasley's boots, so can you keep them out of shot? I'm going now.
Thank you, Julie.
Goodbye and thank you.
Do you get a spectacular outfit?
Well, for Hermione, I get a pretty spectacular outfit.
Excellent.
You know, it's kind of sexy, actually.
Really?
I mean, by Hermione's standards.
Hermione's sexy.
Yeah, Hermione's sexy. It's red, quite low cut. You know, she's an action hero. She's coming into a new role, and she's a young woman now, so she's allowed to be a bit sexy.
I'm not sure the same can be said for Xenophilius Lovegood, father of Harry's friend Luna, played by Rhys Ifans, who takes dad dancing at a wedding to a whole new level. But it's actually his daughter who's come up with all the moves. And in case you're wondering, those bruises are makeup.
I started looking through the book and Luna dances by herself and she's meant to look as if she's batting away Raxforth's, Harry sort of thinks. And then the next day, David was like, well, after this, you lead him off and maybe you do a sort of a special dance. And I had been thinking of something in my room. I was like, yeah, and it was a bit like that. So I showed it to them and to the choreographer of the steps, and they really liked it. And so they put Rhys doing the same thing, and we sort of turned different ways and changed direction.
So it's going to become a craze?
Yeah.
The Lovegood two-step, or whatever it is, the rap bat. Now, it's not just the bride and groom who get presents at this wedding. The new Minister for Magic, Rufus Scrimgeour, who's played by the wonderful Bill Nighy, turns up with some very strange presents for Harry, Ron and Hermione.
Herein is set forth the last will and testament of Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore.
In this film, we have Bill Nighy playing Scrimgeour, who is fantastic. There was, we have kind of eventually reached consensus on how to say his name, and we're going with Scrimgeour. I think that's how we've ended up saying it.
Because I'm looking at it, and is it spelt Scrimgeour? It doesn't
It's
feel
kind
like
of spelt Scrimgeour.
My character is called Rufus Scrimgeour. Well, I'm surprised I can pronounce it. He is a minister, or rather, let's get serious, the Minister of Magic. And he's a very, very important person, therefore. And his job in the movie is to deliver Dumbledore's will to Harry and to try and interpret it, and interpret what it means and what what it will mean to Harry and to the future. And Harry won't tell him. He brings a deluminator for Rupert, which can turn light on and off at will.
Brilliant.
He brings the Tales of Beedle the Bard, which are magical children's stories for Emma. And he brings the snitch that's used at Quidditch for young Harry. He tries to get Harry to tell him the true significance of these objects. But I can't really tell you anymore because I have to kill myself.
And then, bang, out of nowhere, there's a message from Voldemort. All of the Death Eaters apparate into the wedding, and there's just kind of like chaos. Kind of like, I think it feels as if the war really has begun now, and like nowhere's safe.
They are coming. They are coming.
Obviously, Hermione, Harry, and Ron have to get out of there.
As Voldemort's presence and dominance is growing, Malfoy Manor becomes the heartbeat of his operations, home to Harry's nemesis Draco and his once powerful family, who have suffered a dramatic fall from grace. This is the first time we've seen Draco's family home. Its stunning Jacobean features were inspired by Hardwicke Hall in Derbyshire, which was once described as one of the most splendid houses in England. And who would guess that much of this panelling and detail was actually made from foam? But all of this grandeur counts for nothing if you've fallen out of favour with the Dark Lord.
What about you, Lucius?
My lord? I start off so full of hope, Lucius. You know, Voldemort has chosen my house to be his headquarters, and it's just having the king in your own house is a ringing endorsement.
I require your wand.
Within about 2 seconds, it all turns completely pear-shaped when he takes my wand off me. You don't take a wand off a wizard in public. It's just not appropriate. And then he snaps it, and I think he's going to kill me, and it all just turns into my worst nightmare and goes downhill from there.
And that very public fall from grace is horrific for the Malfoys and for...
It's emasculating for me, and it's what it is the moment where it becomes clear to me that he does not see a place for me in the future, in this new world that he's going to create if he wins.
Let's talk about Voldemort and what his plans are. What's he been up to and what's he trying to get out?
He's up to his old tricks again, Ben. I hate to say it, but he hasn't turned around. He's still pursuing the art of darkness. Well, much the same, obviously. He's obsessed with getting rid of the young wizard Harry.
As inspiring as I find your bloodlust, Bellatrix, I must be the one to kill Harry Potter.
It's going to be interesting. There's a few scenes, again, that I don't want to say too much, but it has had me close to believing that this is actually a real thing. Some of the he murders some people in some very, very
gruesome ways.
Yeah, I don't even know the right words for it.
If I am to kill him, I must do it with another's wand.
It's a strange time, certainly for myself, because I'm not used to seeing all these things out in the public, and lots of very undesirables roaming around my house. I don't pick generally the prettiest people to play Death Eaters. No offence to any of them who are out there. They're gorgeous in real life, but they make them wear all sorts of teeth. And so, yeah, it's a little daunting, even for Tom the actor, let alone Draco the young boy. The first scene he's in is terrifying, which actually takes place on this set. It's really, really scary. I mean, I came down to watch a bit of the filming. I left quite quickly because it was taking a long time, but the bit I saw was really scary. Yeah, no, it'll be good for people to see what people have been running, all these characters have been running from for so many years.
I have seen your heart, and it is mine.
Harry, Ron and Hermione are hiding out here in Grimmauld Place, the former HQ to the Order of the Phoenix, once owned by Sirius Black, Harry's godfather, and now belonging to Harry himself. And it's here that they're reunited with Kreacher, the rather curmudgeonly house elf, who is very upset to find he's now in Harry's service, and as such is charged with a very important mission. He's tasked with finding the whereabouts of a Horcrux disguised as a locket. This scene also sees the return of the much-loved Dobby. They look so realistic, these house elves, that it's hard to believe they don't actually exist. But at the heart of these state-of-the-art CGI creatures is a very human element.
It was very important that we had actors to play Dobby and Kreacher.
Been spying on us, have you?
We asked them to come along during all of the filming, so when the whole scene was shot, so that David could work very closely with them, and we could kind of develop the personalities and characteristics of the house elves in each scene, which felt quite important to actually know how the other actors are going to interact with them. Even though obviously they're not the right size, having them there to actually give a performance was really important. So we filmed a rehearsal with each of them on camera, so we had reference of where they were, and then we had body doubles to play the house elves, basically, so that there were eye lines available on the set. Not of the correct height or proportions, but small enough to give all of the other actors a sense of where they were in space and moving around. We then removed them from the plate and obviously replaced them with the CG creature and CG Dobby.
Master Weasley, so good to see you again.
Wicked trainers.
Dobby and Creature reveal that the locket is now in the possession of Dolores Umbridge, their former teacher and arch-enemy, who is now working as Senior Undersecretary at the Ministry of Magic. The question is, how do they get to it? After the break, we're going inside the Ministry of Magic. And, get this, for the first time ever, we're going to be allowed to show you how they make the flying sequences, and I'm going to get to have a go. See you in a bit.